Using our same example of Hamlet, I'm going to pop a little video right here in case you might be confused about this. Stay with me and follow along. So we've proceeded through the template and are now at the point where we indicate the 3 tragic hero traits. The one that I'm demonstrating for you here is this last trait. Ends his life with an inevitable downfall that the audience feels. Now I'm to follow this with 2 examples of this particular event. The 2 events that I have shown are this example from the play, which takes place in Act 5, Scene 2, which is the scene where Hamlet dies. And I've included in my proposal this detail. I'm going to be so happy I did this later on, because when I'm writing my essay and completing my outline, I've already done the work for this. So it's great to do that now. The second explanation of him committing suicide is a tragic hero often kills himself, and this is the second example. In Act 2, Scene 1, Ophelia describes Hamlet's appearance as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak horrors, since he was so pale and dreadful looking. The reference to that quote came from an author by the name of Walden. Let's look at that article together. Since I've already quoted the scene where Hamlet actually commits suicide with poison, I'm going to look at where that foreshadowing took place. Who indicated earlier that Hamlet was going to do this? So that's what I typed into Google. Google came up with a bunch of stuff that I could not use because I'm not going to quote anything from SparkNotes. That's not a legitimate article. But I did find a legitimate article right here. Socratic.org is a good website, and I'm going to click on that. And here I am at the article written by Harold Walden. And I read through that article to see what I can use from this to make my point. And I find this nifty quote, because this is where Walden points out that Ophelia first mentions that Hamlet's appearance is pale and dreadful looking, and that he looks as though he's a ghost himself, out of to speak of horrors. Now that takes place in Act 2, Scene 1. We won't be using these same page numbers because we're not using this particular author's text. But we can still use this quote so long as we give our darling Harold credit for that quote. So instead of using the page numbers that will not correspond to the text that I've read, I'm going to indicate that this dialogue was spoken in Act 2, Scene 1, and I write this: Ophelia describes Hamlet's appearance as if it had been loosed out of hell, since he was so pale and dreadful looking. And I give credit to Walden for this quote. So there are my 2 examples of this one archetype. Yes? Okay. Keep going and practice on this, and you'll get better and better, and it'll come easier and easier to you. But I want to mention one last little quick thing. Now I've gotten that article, didn't I? Okay, let's go back to that article. While I've got it open, and before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure that I cite that article in my EasyBib. So I go through the functions of creating that thing. It's a website. I'm going to pop in the URL, search, and it's going to click Cite, and then I'm going to click Continue, and I need to put our Harold's name in there, don't I? So this was Harold Walden. Oops. The rest has been included, and I complete the citation. Okay? And now it's all in my nifty little list. Right? There we go. So now, as you remember from the tutorial above, we have the script cited. We have another article on Shakespeare as a tragic hero. And because we're fabulous achievers, we went ahead and found the other one so that when we come to write the paper and the essay, we already have this done. And I hope this helps you understand how step 7 is accomplished. Moving on.